Hi guys, my name is Marcel and today you're gonna learn how to draw like a sir, because today's video is all about drawing long strands of hair. I've already made a basic video on how to draw hair and how hair basically works, so if you consider yourself a novice or a beginner, please watch this one first because this one's pretty beginner friendly and easy to understand. So maybe it helps you easing into the topic a little bit. But in the meantime, I've been busy painting Pokemon cards and Yu-Gi-Oh cards and a PS5 on my main channel. And also I've been working on this video because hair ain't easy to animate. But I tried my best to make this video as understandable as possible, because you guys know how the saying goes. What makes a good tutorial is that you can show it to any random person on the street and they will understand everything in it. Or maybe not, because I just made that one up. But for real now, if some stranger approached me on the street and asked me, Marcel, how do you draw long hairstyles? Then I would answer with full confidence, who are you and how do you know my name? I'm calling the police. But besides that, I'd basically say the same things that I'm about to say in this video. I tried my best with animating some visual aids and explaining it to the best of my abilities, so I hope you guys enjoy this one. But that's enough for now. Let's hop right into my tutorial on how to draw long hair. Let's go. Now then, the most important thing is that you already know how hair basically works and functions. You know how hair consists of smaller strands and so on and so on. You know what I mean. Because that's precisely where we will be continuing from last time. I guess it makes the most sense to show you guys how long hair actually works by demonstrating it on a single strand. So let's disregard the fact that this hairstyle looks like a crime against humanity and concentrate on this one long strand. Like I showed you the last time, your hair is cut in steps. And that also counts for this strand right here. It consists of less and less hair the longer it goes, so it gets thinner and thinner. Also, and this is just up to you, but adding details to longer hair is especially fun. Just keep in mind that the hair strand has its thick main strand in the middle. So if you want to add some detail, do it on the outer parts of the strand so it looks like there's a bit more method to this madness. And speaking of madness, sometimes hair just separates from a strand. Back in the day when I released my first manga volume, I didn't think of adding random hair because I wanted everything to look clean and smooth. But now I do it all the time, because that's just how hair is sometimes. But there's no right or wrong here. How detailed you draw something is simply how you prefer it. But if you would like to add some details, I happen to have a checklist of things that you might want to look at. It's short, don't worry. First of all, a strand of hair loses its weight at the tip, since there's barely any hair left. And that's why it might curve a bit. That's just how hair works. And also, that's why people draw hair offhanded and very fast. That's by far the best way to get a natural looking curvature into your artwork. And that's also exactly why hair just doesn't look dynamic if you draw it carefully and slowly. So don't do that. Also, and that's what I said before, hair isn't always perfectly smooth and tidy, it tends to come off sometimes. Hair is something natural and there's nothing perfect or smooth in nature. Add some strands coming off, but don't overdo it. Too many and the hairstyle might look a bit too messy. The last point here is that hair also tends to get tangled and sticks together. But I can't show you that with just one strand, that's why I'm adding another one here. And maybe this addition makes this hairstyle look a bit nicer, right? Right? Who am I kidding? You can't salvage this accident of a hairstyle here anymore. But it's just here to work as an example, not to look good, so who cares? But back on topic, hair gets tangled. Maybe that's because it's windy outside, maybe that's because the hairstyle is intended to look, or maybe that's because some random pale guy on the internet needs it to be tangled so he can continue with his tutorial on long hair. Whatever the case, hair tends to get tangled and there's several ways to approach this. A lot of artists just let their strands meld together and merely draw the outlines. Other artists try to at least get some details in, so it just doesn't look too simple. But something that might look a bit too weird is when you draw in the whole strand. This doesn't look like the hair is tangled into another, but rather like it just lays on top. So even though this is the most detailed way, it just doesn't look like it's intended to. I think you guys understood that now, so I don't think we'll need this anymore. Sorry Mr. Wilhelm, but we don't have a use for this anymore. Another fun thing is how long hair tends to curl. That's kinda an extension to what I told you the last time about, you know, shapes of hair and so on. So yeah, long story short, long hair tends to curl. Now, I have a neat little trick that I can show you about this, just watch. When I draw a strand of hair, I already have a basic idea about how it could look. And then I draw two very loose streaks across each other. And after that, I just add to the shape I just drew until it looks like the shape that I had in mind. There's also people who think that this method works the best when you draw a guideline beforehand, but this is just a matter of opinion. Go ahead and try it, maybe with or without a guideline, use the method that works best for you. But whatever you use, please just draw it loosely and with fast offhand streaks. You cannot get any better results with any other approach, and the same goes for when you ink your art. If you don't believe me or my artworks, pros do it the very same way. No one draws hair the slow, careful way. No one. Also, this might have looked very easy, but rest assured you need to get the muscle memory down first. So don't get demotivated when it doesn't work the first couple of times. Like everything else in art, it's a simple learning by doing process. And last but not least are dynamics, more specifically moving hair or hair strands in the wind. The point where the hair is fixed basically doesn't move, and the tip of it is just too light to be significantly moved. So there's basically just one area where wind can strike a strand of hair. It's the middle of it. Try envisioning it as a C, or more creatively, as a parachute of a non-specifically Hylian elf boy to avoid copyright. This was the short, easy example for short hair. So let's look at long hair next. The upper part resembles the letter C, just like before. But since this strand is a lot longer, there's another C hanging on it. So basically it becomes the letter S. And that's where it all comes together. So now you can apply your knowledge from before with the crossing streaks. And for all of you daredevils out there, you can, of course, also just draw the whole thing at once if you're confident enough. I also did the same thing for my characters and illustrations, so there's nothing wrong in doing that. It looks a lot more dynamic, but just do it the way you are the most comfortable with. And after you've got that down, the rest is up to you. How much details from my previously mentioned checklist do you want to add? Do you want some strand coming off? How curly should the strand be? Should another strand get tangled in it? And yes, all of this might sound like NASA to you if you're new to this, but it's really not. After all, you can start slowly adding more and more details as you get more confident with drawing long hair. It's your art, so it's your choice. And instead of googling for a tutorial, you can just look up the real thing by searching long hair in the wind and get inspired that way. After all, there's no better reference to look at than real life hair, right? Now, that was a lot of theory, but the practice is something you need to get down yourself. And after getting that practice, you can go straight ahead and apply your newly earned knowledge by drawing a full head of long hair. If you guys want to see more tutorials, there's a couple of them on my channel already, but there will be many more, so please consider subscribing, join my crew, become a nakama. To be honest, I've been thinking about translating my recent anatomy tutorial about drawing women, but despite my recent endeavors, I just won't be able to monetize it. So I would appreciate if you guys would support me with a thumbs up and a nice comment, and if I get your support in that kind of way, I'd be happy to upload more videos in the future. So, thank you guys for everything up until now, and everyone who's been supporting me so far. My name's Marcel, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye.